So at this moment, I launched an initiative called Around Egypt on a Motorcycle. Okay.
Okay.
Wanted to educate people about their country, what we need, what we do, who we are, different cultures, different languages or different slangs in
Mm.
Egypt, you know. And I found a lot of people interested to learn about the country that we're living in, especially after a survey I made that resulted that 70% of Egyptians don't know about Egypt.
Hmm.
I am an African.
So I did 2016, I bought my first motorcycle. I
Okay.
decided to buy a motorcycle. Okay. Uh, when I bought my first motorcycle, at this moment, I don't know how to ride a motorcycle. Even I don't know how to start a motorcycle. So I bought a motorcycle and I bought it on a truck to who?
Mhm.
So we have a motorbike at home right now. I should start riding.
Yeah.
I remember that this step took around a week to learn how to start as a motorcycle. And it
Mhm.
took me a week to start a motorcycle. After I managed to start the motorcycle, learning how to deal with the motorcycle and getting my driving license, I started to travel with my motorcycle, which was a totally new experience for me.
Mm.
Usually I travel by car a lot, but it was the first time for me to travel in two wheels. I found that traveling in two wheels, making your sense and your mind in a different status with the world. You can say it makes you deeply connected with the world. When I traveled on my motorcycle for the first time, I used it the same way to the office I'm working on. I'm living in Alexandria, and my
Mhm.
office is Cairo, which is around 200 kilometer by car. So I decided to use something familiar for me. During this ride, or during the first ride, during the 200 kilometer, I have doubts that is the road to the, why?
Mhm.
The motorcycle giving your sense a boost, and giving you different feeling about everything, giving you details that you will notice for the first time.
Wow.
For you have been there for many, many years.
Mhm.
This moment, I realized that I don't know about the world. I don't know anything about the world, and I need to continue riding to visit all Egyptian cities on
Okay.
my own. So by 2015, I managed to visit all Egyptian cities on my motorcycle
Wow.
solo ride. And this loaded me with a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a
Yeah.
deep understanding for culture differentiation, people needs, youth needs, many, many things. It was an amazing experience. I remember that after this ride, I spent the months at home trying to understand and to process what I have seen during this ride. After this ride, I realized that we have a lot of resources not used. A
Mm.
lot of people need help. A lot of great things people don't know about it. So at this moment, I launched an initiative called Around Egypt on a Motorcycle. Okay.
Okay.
Wanted to educate people about their country, what we need, what we do, who we are, different cultures, different languages or different slangs in
Mm.
Egypt, you know. And I found a lot of people interested to learn about the country that we're living in, especially after a survey I made that resulted that 70% of Egyptians don't know about Egypt.
Hmm.
So I was traveling on my motorcycle to each city, describing the road, describing the city, what you need to visit, what you need to see, historical sites, culture
So
differentiation.
you're putting this up on like a blog or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
at this
Okay.
used to share it on YouTube and
Okay.
on.
Okay. Yeah.
After that, I found that people need more than knowledge. People need development, and
Mhm.
not just a development, it need a sustainable development. So in 2019, I partnered with UNDP Egypt to promote sustainable development goals in Egypt through my rides. As in each city I visit, I meet people, I connect with decision makers, stakeholders, governmental officials. Especially at this moment in 2019, I had two Guinness records. I managed to visit all
Wow.
Egyptian cities. I managed to break one of the most important Guinness records on motorcycles. So I started to be noticed in this area. So in 2019, I started to focus on sustainable development in general with a special focus on vulnerable communities. Most of African countries are vulnerable, to be honest with you. So I started to focus on sustainable development, at least raising awareness about what is sustainable development, what we need to achieve in each goal, where we are from each goal, and why we are still here, what's needed to move forward.
Right.
In 2020, at the pandemic, COVID-19, during 2019 and 2020, I was planning to launch an initiative called 100 Egypt. 100 Egypt means 100 different story about Egypt related to sustainable development. I was trying to simplify what is sustainable development from real life examples, about education, about sustainable cities, about sustainable transportation, about many things. But, we need to simplify things for people to just attract them to work with us to achieve these goals. But as everyone knows, that COVID stopped everything. And after COVID-19, many things have changed. So during this period, as everyone remember, it was the only time in human history that emission is reduced and the temperature it started to be natural. So this grabbed my attention to the climate change, and I started to be more focused and more concentrating on climate change topics. Especially in Egypt. Egypt is one of the most impacted countries by climate change. During a visit to a city in Egypt on the north coast called Damietta, during the meeting, the governor, he mentioned that this city lost 7 kilometers of its coastland. You can imagine that, 7 kilometers.
Yeah.
Imagine 7 kilometers from homes, from factories, from touristic sites, from activities, from many, many things. Not to mention the impact on agriculture, not to mention the impact of economy, many things. So in 2021, Egypt hosted COP29, which was an important event in the region, and this lighted things in my mind, what I can do to support these efforts. So in 2021, Egypt hosted COP29, COP27 in 22. So in 2021, I started to be more focused around sustainable development, sustainable transportation, clean energy solutions. As you know, the world need to be more aware about the available options. And at this moment, having an electric car in Egypt or electric motorcycle was very weird. People asking how I can charge, how many kilometers I can do with a charge. People are really interested, but they are afraid of taking a decision. So in 2021, I broke the Guinness record for greatest distance on electric motorcycle in 24 hours. I rode my motorcycle for 24 hours.
Wow.
I was trying to convince people and to prove to them by an evidence and certificate like a Guinness certificate that you can ride it for 24 hours. You can ride it for 1,000 kilometers if you want. Until now, this world record still there. No one broke it. Okay, it was
So how many world records do you have now? Because I feel like you've dropped like 2 or 3, right?
I have 7 Guinness records now. 7 world records. Yes.
Wait,
I'm the most person with world record on electric vehicles. By sorry. And the first Arab achieving it.
You're probably gonna get the Guinness World Record for having the most Guinness World Records at this rate.
It is a good. Yeah. It is a good point. Let me explain why I break Guinness records. Okay. Breaking a record is not a personal achievement for me.
Right.
Having a record like having a 10 record, it is the same for one person. Okay. Being a record breaker, it is one thing to do it in your life. But I found that involving in what we are doing, helping us to motivate people, helping us to attract global media, helping us to reach millions of, okay?